Alright, so we've been getting into blueprint reading and welding symbols. I remember when I was first learning blueprints and I just dreaded it. I always thought that should be left to the engineers, sketching, making up the blueprints, all that stuff generally is the engineer work, right? Well, come to find out, I would see a lot of these things on the job, and then I'm glad that I can actually break these down and understand each one of these because you're going to see these all the time when you're on the job dealing with blueprints. So it's better to go in with that bit of knowledge and coming out with more experience. So basic lines here. We're going to start with this, and then we're going to go to basic views. But basic lines is going to be our Unit 1 Review A. Basic views is going to be Unit 1 Review B. So we got two separate papers here. We're going to start with basic lines. So I'm going to just break down this chart a little bit, talk a little bit about each type of line. We've got object lines, which are basically just the outline of an object. Okay, easy as that. Hidden line shows something that can't be seen by the naked eye. Center line typically goes through the middle of circles or symmetrical parts, arcs, things like that. You have extension and dimension lines. Your extension lines basically just extend out from the part on the print to give you a better view of your dimension. Okay, your dimension is where your dimension goes. So it could be in inches, feet, centimeters, meters, whatever. You have your leader lines. So you have two different types of leader lines here. This, say for instance, there was a cube here. This line was pointing to the left side of the cube. Well, that's pointing to the surface on that side of the cube, the left side of the cube, the surface. This here, this dot, is actually going to be sitting on top of the surface. So if I were to draw a cube here, this would be sitting on this side of the cube, okay, indicating that surface. Go on. Alrighty, so what we have here are we have our cutting plane lines. Generally, they're thick lines that run through the center of the object. That way you can see the interior of the object. Okay, so we got different types of cutting plane lines here. This says that the preferred cutting plane line is a heavy broken line made up of a series of one long and two short dashes alternately spaced. So that's the preferred method. Arrowheads are placed at right angles to the cutting plane line as shown. Alternate cutting plane lines are a solid heavy line or a series of long dash lines. So kind of like an outline, or an object line and a hidden line in some respect, and then a center line here. So, and then of course you got your right angle arrows here. This here is section lines. If you were to sketch out an object and the surface of the object had any of these lines, this is what you would use, or you would see rather. Steel, cast iron, copper, aluminum, things of that nature, but they would all be drawn out as such. And you don't always see these on prints, but there are instances where you do. You have different types of lines here. You have a chain line, short break line, long break line, phantom line, all used for different things. This indicates the location and extent of a surface area. This shows a break to conserve space on a drawing to show a partial section. So if you wanted to blow up a part of a section, this would basically break that part, and then you would be able to see a blown up version of that. To show a long break to conserve space on a drawing, same here. And then of course phantom line to show alternate positions of a part, to show relationship of existing part to new part, to show machine surfaces. So all these different types of lines. On these unit reviews, you won't necessarily need to worry about these or these. In fact, this whole page will likely not be on those unit reviews. So basically just be doing the very basics here going forward. So this is views, so I'm not going to get into the views just yet. Let's go ahead and take a look at our print. Alright, this is our print. So on our worksheet here, it's asking us to identify the following types of lines. Check it out. We got all different types of lines here. All the lines that I mentioned prior are here. I take it back, there is one on this page that was on the other one that I said that was not going to be on here, but it is. Just kidding. So I'll explain that momentarily. So let's go down the line here. We have A all the way through P. So I'm going to start with A. Take a look at A over here. A is pointing to what? It's pointing to this hidden line. So A is going to be hidden. All right. B. B is pointing towards an object line. So B is going to be object. C. Where is C? C is pointing to, look at that. There's a dimension in there. Inside of what? Extension lines? Yes. So yes, this is a dimension line. C is dimension. D. D pointing to an object line. Look at that. This is elementary. This is so easy. This can't be any easier. E. E. Look at that. What is this? It's extending out what? It's extending out this dimension line. Both of these actually. Look at that. They're like connected. That is an extension line. E. Extension. Okay, we have F. Where's F? F is pointing to what? Look at that. Looks like there's two of them here. That's a hidden line. Hidden. Notice this one is going all the way through. I'll explain that one in a second. But these are hidden lines. Notice where these hidden lines are in relationship to this part. Now, I'm not talking about views yet because we're not getting into views just yet. But this hidden line happens to be the outside edges of this circle. And these different views. Again, we'll get to views here in a moment. Yes, F is hidden. G. Where's G? G is pointing to... Now this can be a little tricky. People may think that these are, in fact, extension lines. No. These are dimension lines. There's the dimension on the inside here. This is a dimension line. Just drawn a little differently to fit the space, right? We do everything to conserve space. H. Where's H? H is pointing to yet another object line. Solid black line, object. I. I pointing to another extension line. I mean, we're just blazing through this now. J. J is pointing to, oh, look at this. That's not a hidden line. What is it going through the center of? A circle, just like this one here. There's two of them. That's a center line. J is center. K. K pointing towards a circle. Look at this. This is pointing towards an object. It's an object line. L. L is pointing towards another hidden line. M. M. Look at that. Now this one, see, these were hidden lines, right? This is a center line. It's going through the center of that circle. These are the outside edges of that circle, remember? The diameter of that circle. So, center. M is center. N. Center. O. Look at this one. This one is pointing to a line that is pointing to a line. It's pointing to this line. That is a leader line. This leader line is pointing towards this cutout circle. Okay, we can assume it's cut out because it said it's drilled. So I guess it's drilled, not cut out, but it's drilled. Tomato, tomato. So leader. O is leader. P. Where's P at? It's the last guy. Here we go, P. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, interesting. This line is above this part. It's not on the part. So what could that represent? Well, let's take a look back at our lines. Oh, would you look at that? Let's see. Is that a phantom or is that a chain line? Let's see. That is one long dash and one short dash. Long, short, long. I think it's this one. Long, short, long. Because we have long, short, short, long. Short, short, long. So yeah, I'm going to go with chain long. So look, that's the one different one from A through P. All the other ones are just copies of one another. Don't mind the chicken scratch. It's all right. Okay. So part B of question 1. This is question 1, by the way. So A through P. Part B. What does Q have reference to? So we're looking at Q here. Oh, would you look at that? Q has reference to what? The surface. The surface of this object. Now I could say top surface, but again, we're not talking about views yet, so I don't want to talk about the views. Number 2 says, give the function or functions of the following lines. So I have to explain what the function of A through J is. Actually, it has A, B, C, E, J. So let's go to A. What is the function of this line? I don't know. Let's take a look. To show the hidden object. The hidden object, because this is another object, right? We have an object here, because this is an object line. We have an object here. Oh, the purpose is to, or the function is to show the hidden object. Shows hidden object. All right. B. Let's take a look at B. What is the function of this line? Again, we know that this is an object line, so what's its function? To show the outline of the object. Show outline of object. C. C. What is this? What is the function of this line? To show you the dimension. Show the dimension. I mean, freaking elementary. E. Extension. Okay, this just extends out your dimension line. So I'm just going to put extends dimension line. J. J. This shows the center of the circle. Shows, that's the center line, right? Shows center of circle. Holy cow, look at that. We're already almost done. Okay, so now we're doing number 3. It says, describe the lines shown on the drawing with reference to letters E through P. Describe the lines shown. So when it's talking about describe the lines, I interpret that as describe what the line looks like. E. This is EHCLMP. So E. It's a, I wouldn't say it's as bold as an object line, but it is a solid black line. Thin, solid black line. I would say thin, solid black line. I think I'm running out of ink here. Go figure. See if I can get another pen. Yes, I can. Look at that. One. Woo-wee. Okay, so H. H. Object line, solid black line. I would describe that as a solid black line. C. And again, if you've already got this figured out by now, you don't have to be following along. You can end this video if you feel totally, completely confident in doing this. You can totally end this video anytime. C, dimension line. I would also, I guess, I suppose I would describe that as a, well, you have to include the arrow, so a thin, solid, black line with arrow. Okay, you can say arrow on both ends, I suppose. Although that would be not the case here. L. Dashes. I would describe that as hidden lines as a dashed line. A dashed line. M. M, center. Okay, so it's one long, one short, one long. So you have a long, slash short slash long line. You can probably put thin black line. Thin black, long, short, long line. P. Okay, we can describe this as a long, short, long, short, long. So you have long, short, long, short. So yeah, there's a few ways that you can describe that. Long dash, short dash. I just put long, short, long, short, long. Kind of silly, but number 4. It says identify. This is number 4A. Identify the kind of material specified to make the part. Easy freaking peasy. I don't know why I'm flipping the pages here. It's on the print. Don't mind me. I'm tired. Thanksgiving's coming up. I want some turkey. Cold rolled steel. Identify the kind of material specified to make the part. Look, if you take a look here, this is the title block. It is cold rolled steel. So I'll write it like that, cold rolled steel. Now it says to sketch the section line symbol that would be used for this metal. Okay, so I would just go back to this. Can't remember what it looks like off the top of my head. I don't know what rational, sane person would. You know, again, you might see these on prints and you'll recognize these right away, and you may not at the same time. Like I would have a very hard time differentiating that to that when looking at a print. I don't know about you, but it's very, you know, and that and that as well. So the lines have to be very, very precise in how they're spaced. So again, but we're talking about steel here, so this is the one that we're going to be drawing. So I am just going to draw a square, and I'm going to draw some lines that look like that. So we have a square, bada bing, bada boom. I'm just terrible. I can't draw straight lines. I'm glad I'm not a tattoo artist. Don't hire me. Somehow I've got a, you know, a steady enough hand to weld, but I could never tattoo. Just, you know, I'm just not an artist. I wish I was. I like to think I'm like an artist musically. I enjoy music. I have played / sometimes play music. I like to write music in my head, but I don't write it down. Okay, I'm not sitting here writing music, not like I used to. So that's about as artistic as I get. You know, That's what you want to call it. But yeah, it'll look something like that. So, look at that. We're done with Unit 1, Review A. Right on.